to say just a little bit about bigotry, because when I do speak out in the various communities that I'm in, including work, and I'm a boater, so in the boating community, the very first thing that I get accused of is being a bigot, right? And I'm sure many of you will have met that accusation yourselves. So I just want to think for a minute about what a bigot is. What is a bigot? My understanding of a bigot is that it's someone who's never questioned and is not open to questioning what they think. Yep. Right? So they're not open to changing their minds. And I had to have a think about it and think, well, am I open to changing my mind? Am I actually prepared to question what I think? You know? And it's an interesting thing to consider. I invite you to consider it, because it's not simply a case of taking the opposite point of view. There's more to it than that, isn't there? And I suggested to the last woman that I had this argument with that in fact most of us feminists, but I'd go so far as to say almost all of us feminists, have in fact changed our minds. Because speaking as a lifelong lesbian feminist, I was initially very accepting of the trans people in the community. I grew up with guys who regularly did drag and called themselves women's names and referred to each other as she, and, you know, believed, some of them, that they were born in the wrong body. So I kind of grew up accepting that, and I've changed my mind about it on the basis of more information, on the basis of looking at the wider picture and how this affects all of us in our society. And not to get too distracted, but the same can be said of prostitution. I had friends at school who got into prostitution, and I initially didn't see any problem with that, you know. And I've had to change my mind about it because of how it affects us as women, and also I would say men, across our wider society. So I think, I don't want to go on too long because I do tend to go on a bit, but I think it's important for us to challenge this. When people say you're a bigot, I don't think we should simply shut it down or sort of say, no, I'm not, or whatever, but to say, well, actually I've changed my mind about this on the basis of further information. Because look, okay, here's the next bit. Most of the young, liberal, trendy women that I meet, I don't think they're evil. I don't think they're necessarily even handmaidens as such. They're just largely misinformed or ill-informed. They are completely unaware of the link with trans and pornography, sissy porn. Right, and before you go and investigate that, I urge you to reconsider. Because there's some stuff you just cannot unsee it. You know? But they're unaware of that. They're unaware of the deeper philosophical notions about how men and male supremacy define women, right? This was not my idea, but it was passed on to me. You know, in the beginning was the Word, right? And we are the fucking word. Oh, these men think, they actually think that they created us, right? They think they've created through their notion of God. And of course, you know, the birth of a man who thinks he's God is not such a rare event. This comes from deep roots. It comes from postmodernism and contemporary philosophy as well. And some of us need to have the guts to follow Summer Brodribb and other women who have delved into that realm to bring us back some of the awful consequences and notions that they have. Some of us need to actually follow her and other women like that and unmask this, you know, as Mary Daly taught us to do. You know, we need to do that. As a radical feminist, I believe that we are at the hub of all the different kinds of aspects of feminism. We've got feminist opinions on, as I've said, pornography, prostitution, the prostitution of women, and other sexual violence against women, about childcare, about all sorts of reproductive rights, which is a much bigger thing than just choice, right? Lots of different notions, including, of course, the definition of our ongoing sexuality and whatever that might mean for each and every woman here. So it's a big thing. But basically, we're here to confront the trans ideology, which is the latest backlash by the master and his allies. And so I'm really pleased to see you all here, and I just want to finish on this. You know, I may be wearing a weird fish t-shirt, but you know what? Human beings are not clownfish.